Namaste and hello. Welcome to the Art of Yoga YouTube channel. My name is Lynn, and thank you for taking your time today to practice with me. I'd like to start with a warm-up that's called lip fluttering. And so if you haven't practiced lip flutters before, it's a really nice way to relax the jaw and the face. And it's a little bit silly. So watch me first, and then we'll do this maybe about 5 times just to relax the face and the jaw. So you're going to inhale really slowly through your nose and then exhale, fluttering the lips. So to prepare for that, just maybe licking your lips, and as you exhale, you'll just try to go slowly on the exhale. Okay, so take a moment, watch me 1 time, and then you can join in and we'll do 5 more. Okay, so 5 more times, and I'll just hold my hand up to count. Join me when you're ready. Remember to lick the lips in between. Last one, licking the lips first. Inhale through the nose. Okay, and just notice how that feels on your face and on your jaw. And then just taking a comfortable seated position. You can always sit with the knees crossed, or you can be kneeling on your knees if that's more comfortable, however you feel comfortable. And just taking a moment to ground yourself, so feeling the earth underneath of you, feeling your space. If you need to look around the room, you can look around and notice where the doors are and where the windows are. And then bringing your awareness just to yourself, so coming back inward. And you can either close your eyes or just gaze at a spot on the floor. And breathing in and out of your nose if it's comfortable, sitting up tall, roll the shoulders down the back. Today's class, the theme is going to be about commitment. And so just taking a moment to think about what that means to you. And if you have your journal, you could take your journal for a moment and write down some thoughts. If you don't have a journal, just taking a moment to think about some things that you could later write in your journal. Or if you have a piece of paper, you could take some notes there. So just thinking about commitment for a moment. And if you'd like to write down one thing that you have always been able to stick to, just write one thing down that you always stick to. Maybe it's very easy for you to stick to it. Something that you're committed to. You can also write down how you're feeling now before we begin the practice. And just take a moment to think about what commitment means to you. And sometimes that might help to think about what is the opposite of commitment. What does commitment to something, or the opposite of commitment to something, mean? And then maybe just thinking, how do you know in your heart when you're ready to be committed to something? Just take a moment with those thoughts. If you don't have all the answers right now, don't worry. Okay, we're going to practice some yoga. So, becoming committed to yoga practice also takes effort and time. And so even just coming to your mat for 5 minutes or 10 minutes, trying to commit to just a certain time period that's reasonable. So even if you don't have a mat, just committing to taking a little bit of time for yourself. So we're actually going to start lying on our back today. So if you want to come onto your back, you can bend your knees and just bring your feet a little bit wide, like mat widths, so your feet are still on your yoga mat, and let the knees rock together. And you can bring your right hand to your lower belly and your left hand to your heart. So your hands would be positioned like this. Okay? And just take a few breaths here. Notice how you're breathing. See if you can relax your tongue away from the roof of your mouth and relax your jaw. And notice what parts of the body are touching the floor, your shoulders. Walk them away from your ears. And then maybe you feel your breath. Maybe you feel movement against your hands, your stomach rising and falling a little. Or maybe you feel your heartbeat with your left hand. Just notice what you feel. Take 2 more breaths here. And on your next exhale, you can bend your knees a little more, draw them in towards your chest. You can bring your hands behind your thighs and rock side to side, giving the back a little massage. Maybe you take your hands onto your knees and draw some circles, straightening the arms as the knees move away, bending the elbows as the knees come closer. And breathe as you move. Keep breathing in and out of your nose if it's comfortable. One more time in this direction, and then we'll change directions, and you can circle the knees in the other direction. One more circle. And then release. You can bring your left leg straight on the mat. Flex your foot so your toes are drawing towards you. And then bend the right knee. And maybe the hands reach around the thigh and you try to bring your thigh towards your chest. Okay, relax your shoulders. You can also think about pulling your thigh away from you, straightening the arms. And just breathe here as you hold this pose. Flex your feet, spread your toes. Take one more full breath like this, either drawing the knee in or pushing the knee away. Just keeping the feet active. And then you're going to take this knee across your body and extend your right arm out to the side for a little bit of a twist. Okay, and the knee doesn't have to reach the floor, it can be up in the air. Just take a couple breaths here. Noticing how the twist feels. Can you feel your ribs? Can you still feel the breath? Let the belly soften. Then inhale as you come back to center. And exhale, straighten the right knee on the ground. Take a breath here. As you exhale, draw your left thigh in towards your chest. And just hooking the hands on the back of the thigh. You can either press the thigh away from you or draw the thigh close to you. Flex your feet, spread your toes, and just breathe here. On your next exhale, take your knee across your body and extend your left arm out to the side, maybe turning your head towards the left if it feels okay on your neck, and just breathe. One more full breath here. Then inhale, bring your knee back to center, and exhale, straightening the knee Both legs are straight now. Flex your feet and then take your arms overhead. And if it feels okay, you can interlace your hands and press the palms of the hands away as you reach your hands overhead. So you're doing a full body stretch. Flex the feet, spread the toes, and breathe. Good. Then release your hands and walk your hands over to the right and your feet over to the right. So it's like you're making a crescent moon shape. So both the feet and the hands are kind of going over to the right. And you'll feel a stretch in the left side of your ribs. Just take a couple breaths here. Then inhale, come back to center. And exhale, walk your hands and feet over to the other side. So you're making just a little bit of a moon shape, crescent moon, half moon. Breathe deeply. Let the right side of the ribs expand. Flex your feet, spread your toes. One more breath. And then come back to center. And this time, bend both knees and hug both knees into the chest. Rock side to side again. Then rolling onto your right side, you can reach your right arm up. Roll onto the right side so your right ear is on your right arm and the left hand is on the floor in front of the chest. The knees are bent. Pause here. Take one more breath right here. And then as you press yourself up, straighten your top leg, coming up to seated. Okay? And finding a cross-legged position again if it's comfortable. We'll start with a little bit of side bending. So you can bring your right hand down beside you. Inhale, reach your left hand up, and then exhale, side bend. Okay, so keep the shoulders from hiking up. Bring your shoulders down the back. And just breathe. Good. One more breath like this. Lift your rib cage up, maybe rotating it up. And then come back to center. We'll go to the other side. Right arm reaches up. Exhale as you side bend. Try to keep your shoulders down. Instead of reaching the shoulders up, keep the shoulders down and lift your ribs. One more breath like this. Coming back to center. Okay, we're coming onto all fours on our hands and knees. Make sure the hands are shoulder width apart and the knees are hip width. You can tuck your toes if you want to stretch your feet. Try to walk the toes in towards the knees. Inhale for cow pose, sending your chest forward between your arms. Exhale, round the back, flatten the feet. Cat pose. 2 more breaths like this. Inhale, send your sternum forward, shoulders down. And exhale, rounding the back. Last one. Inhale forward. And exhale back. Now we're going to move into a pose that's a modified side plank. So coming onto your left hand and your left knee, you're going to straighten the right leg and flex your foot, spread your toes, and then reach your top arm up and breathe. You could flatten the foot. It's up to you. That's another option. I like to keep on the inside of the foot. Whichever feels more stable. Just make sure the shoulders are not going near the ears. Try to move them back. Create space along your neck, and you can look at the floor or you can look straight forward, keeping your chin in line with your sternum. Or if you want, you can take your gaze up towards the top hand, right? Maybe turning the head a little bit if it's okay on your neck. Otherwise, just taking the gaze up towards that top thumb. One more breath here. And then come back down to center. We're going to switch sides. You're going to be on the left hand. I'm going to spin around so that you can, I won't have my back to you. So now you're on your left-handed knee and reaching, sorry, you're on your right-handed knee and reaching your left hand up. So just doing the other side. Breathe again. Let the breath be your guide through your practice. Nice, smooth, even breaths. Nice. One more breath here. And then exhale as you come back to all fours and take a child's pose. So the knees are wide. You can sit back on your feet and start to hinge from your hips. Walk your hands forward. Okay, if your head doesn't reach the floor, that's okay. Press with your hands. Try to press your hips back onto your feet. If your head reaches the floor, just rest your forehead down and breathe here. Two more breaths. And then we'll come back again onto the right side. Back into that side plank. So your right hand, your right knee are on the floor. Sorry, your left hand and your left knee are on the floor. And this time, to add a little balance, you can pick up your right foot. Flex your foot, spread your toes, and breathe. If this is too much, just keep the foot down. Okay, if you can flex your feet and spread your toes and spread your fingers, press your hand that's on the floor into the floor. One more breath here. And then release. Okay, we'll come back to all fours and switch sides. Okay, so now you'll be doing your right side. So your right hand, your right knee are on the floor. Reach up with your, sorry, I keep mixing up my rights and lefts. Your left knee and your left hand are on the floor and you're reaching up. Doing the other side this time. So if you'd like to pick up the back leg, you can do so. Flex your foot, spread your toes, breathe. Hopefully you switched sides. That's the important part. We want to create balance in the body, trying to do the poses on both sides. Good. If you need a break, just let the leg come down. Try to stay for one more breath. Good, and then coming back to center. And this time just taking care of your wrists. Sometimes side plank can be a lot on the wrists. So just turning your hands so the knuckles are on the floor. Bend the elbows as you inhale. As you exhale, round your back, chin to the chest. 3 more times. Inhale down. Exhale, rounding. Good, and then coming back up, I'm going to give you another option for side plank. So part of the yoga practice, if you're committing to this practice, over time, things get a little bit easier. And, you know, a lot of people like to be challenged and sort of, in yoga, there are these opportunities to add on, to build strength, to build more strength. So if you'd like to come back to that side plank, this is where we were before. So coming back, so your left hand is on the floor, your left knee. This time you're going to step your right foot forward in front of your left knee. And then straighten the left leg behind. Okay, so you might sink your hips a little and then try to lift your hips by pressing into your front foot. And breathe. Nice. So some of you could stay here Actually, let's all stay here right now. So notice the front hand. The front hand should be under your head. So if you're struggling to figure out the spacing, you might move your hand a little bit farther forward so it's under your head. Good. And my arms never look straight. That's as straight as I can get my elbow. So if you can straighten your arm more, then do so. One more breath, and then release. Okay, coming back to all fours. We're going to do the other side. So just walk around to the other side. Your right hand and right knee are on the floor. You could repeat this pose if this is better for your body. Make sure your hand is under your head. Or if you want to add on a little bit more weight to build a little more strength in your body, then you would step your left foot halfway down the mat and then straighten your right leg. And if the hips are dipping, try to lift your hips up, pressing into your feet and using your abdominals. Breathe. Good. One more breath here. And then coming back to center. Back to all fours. We're going to take our hands to stretch the wrists again. This time, point your fingers towards your knees and turn the knuckles down. And just go up and down with your breath. Inhale as you bend your elbows, head comes down. Exhale, round the back. Spread your fingers. Okay, you can change the angle any which way on the wrists, just to kind of help them release. Okay, good. We're going to come onto our backs again. So coming onto your backs for a bridge pose. Your feet can be hip distance apart. And then you're just going to lie down and do a little bit of movement with your bridge. So inhale as you start to lift your hips, and exhale as you lower. If you'd like to take the arms with this, you can inhale, reach your arms overhead, and exhale, come down. Some of you practice breathing exercises, so this is a nice opportunity to add that if you'd like to. You can count your inhale and count your exhale and see if they match. They might not. But it's interesting time to practice it, so you could inhale for the count of 4 and exhale for the count of 4. That's what I'm going to do this time if you want to do it with me. So inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. So you can repeat that a couple more times if you want to make it longer for 6 counts. Whatever feels right in your body. Just go up and down. I'll give you 3 more times to go up and down. Good. One more time. Nice. And then hug the knees into the chest. Rock side to side. Take both knees over to your left side. Arms can be out in a low T. Little twist. Take one more breath here in this twist. Exhale as you bring the knees back to center. Take an inhale here. Exhale, knees go over to the right side. Inhale as you bring your knees back to center, hugging them in towards the chest. And then straightening the legs on the floor for Shavasana. So you can have the feet just flopping out to the sides. You can have the hands facing up towards the ceiling. Walk your shoulders away from your ears to help create more space here along the neck. And then if it's comfortable, you can close your eyes or just gaze softly. Just soften the eyebrows, the forehead. And again, just breathe. Don't control the breath. Don't practice pranayama exercises. Just breathe naturally. You can go back to the theme for the class of commitment, thinking about commitments that you've made or commitments that you plan to make. And just noticing where your thoughts go in your Shavasana. I'm going to come to seated, but you can stay in Shavasana. And just feel the weight of gravity on the bones and on the muscles. Letting your body sink into the floor, resting with ease. Not holding, not controlling, just letting yourself be. Letting your body be breathed by yourself, by itself, without any effort. Thinking about the possibility of committing to a yoga practice or some other practice, committing to something on your journey, something that's beneficial to you, something that's calling in your heart. There's a quote from Nelson Mandela that I'd like to share with you. Do not judge me by my successes. Judge me by how many times I fell down and got back up. Do not judge me by my successes. Judge me by how many times I fell down and got back up. Taking a deep breath here in your Shavasana. Exhaling, just sighing out of the mouth. On your next exhale, just start to wiggle your fingers and your toes, adding in some small movements. And then bending your knees and rolling over onto your right side. And pausing there for a couple breaths. Just take a moment to appreciate your mind, your body, and your spirit. When you're ready, you can slowly come up to seated. Just take a moment to feel the effects of your practice. If you'd like to, you can have your journal and your pencil nearby if you have one. If you don't, just take a moment to think about a promise that you'd like to make to yourself. So if you have your journal, you might just write, a promise that I would like to make to myself is. And if you need more time to write your promise, take time later to yourself. There's no rush. Thank you for practicing with me here on the Art of Yoga Project YouTube channel. Thank you for showing up. The light within me sees and honors the light within you. Namaste.